I could double click and open it. Let's see if it'll let me open it.
So I have a quick question about this. Isn't this owned by, like, the image would be owned by whatever studio
Yeah,
produced
yeah.
it?
Yeah, so if I tried to sell my own copy of Dune, they would come after me. But I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. I'm not going to print this. I'm not going to show this on the web. I'm just showing you. So you could use something else.
But if
So
you
yeah,
want to use something like that, so you were producing some sort of art, then you would contact the studio, like you were saying, and have to get permission. And
if you were selling it, yeah, for just for your portfolio, it's okay, because you're not going to be using this commercially. So
okay.
yeah, so just as long as you're aware of the context that you're using the image in. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go to Photoshop. So I think it's still painting because that brush is so big. Let's see if when it finishes, it's taking forever. Okay. So yeah, if I were using this commercially, then I'd have to get permission, or I could find a piece of art or I could take photos or something like that. But for this, I just thought, oh, I'll just grab this and drop it in there. So I'm just using it for class. I'm not going to try to sell this or anything. Okay. All right, so here's, oh, it's painting onto this. Let's see if I can escape. Okay, I'm gonna undo that. But it's still painting. Oh, that brush is slow. It's a slow brush. All right, let's start gonna do it. Oh, still painting. Come on. Okay. Jesus.
Don't get frozen.
Yeah, it's just the brush. Okay, let's see if I can undo it now. Oh my God.
Are there normally sandstorms in Dune? I haven't
Yeah,
read it yet.
yeah, they are. all the time. It's actually, I'll tell you, it's one of the best books I've ever written. So if you want to read a really good book, it's phenomenal. Let's undo that. Is it going to make me step backwards? Let's see here. So I'm hitting Control Z. So now I'm going to select this, select all, edit copy. I'm going to go to my cover, and I'm going to go to the top of my stack and hit edit paste. And I measured this. Let me go back and measure it. So what I did was I measured the image size, and I made sure that it was printable. So it's 4.5 by 4.5 by 2.5 at 300 DPI, right? So I uncheck resample, type in 300. So this would be printable. And I drop it in. I'm going to move that over like that, something like that. And let's put a drop shadow on it. There we go. We got a little drop shadow. And then let's put a little. I'm going to put a vector shape. I'm going to grab the rectangle tool. I'm going to leave the fill at none, and I'm going to make the stroke white. And I'm going to draw a stroke around the inside of that book cover here, something like this. And then I'll just click away and let's look at that. Okay, view, fit on screen. I'm going to take the tab key off. And so that's the kind of thing that we're looking for this assignment. Now those guides won't print. And so I can turn the guides off, or I go to view, and I can choose extras and uncheck and turn off the guides. And I can go to view and I can choose extras, turn the guides on, back on. So let's go through this one more time. The outer edge is the bleed. And anytime you're creating a printable document, you want to create a bleed and extend it out by another, 0.5 inches, something like that. Then the second line here is the actual trim of the document. So the printer would actually trim it to that. And then the inset here is the safe area. So anything important needs to stay inside of that safe area. So that's like the text or any image that you don't want to have compromised, right? And then so after you lay out your template, you make sure that everything that goes into your document is 300 DPI, right? And then after we finish it, I would save it as, I would save a copy of it like it is as book template underscore Dune book. And I'd save this as a PSD. Now, if I were sending this to the printer, I would convert it to, I go to image, mode, and I'd convert it to CMYK color. And I just go ahead and flatten it. Right, so now it's all one document. And then I would save it as a PDF or you can use a PDF, a JPEG, or a TIFF. So I would go down to save as, and I would save this as PDF. Where's PDF? Photoshop PDF. And
so
that
for
would
the
be- huh?
sorry, for the assignment, it's going to be PDF.
You can export. What I want you to do is send the PSD unflattened. But if I were really sending this to you to a printer, I would flatten it. I would save it as a PDF, or I could use JPEG or TIFF. Actually, most of the time today, I use PDF. 90% of the time, I'll click save, and then it's going to give you some options that I have for printing a PDF. So let me go through these real quick, give you an understanding of how printing PDFs work. And don't stress over this too much, because I'm going to go over this again when we get to the Illustrator part of the course. And then when we start doing our more advanced projects, where we work with Illustrator and InDesign and Photoshop together, I'm going to go over all this again. All right, how are we doing? Everybody okay? We're almost done for the night. All right, I'm going to finish this up and then we can all go home. I mean, we're already home. Get off of Zoom. All right. So we're looking at the PDF options. And so I'll just go through this real quick. All right. Smallest file sizes if you want to send, if you want a web version. So lots of times if I'm doing something for a client, I'll export a copy of it as a small file size and send that to the client. And I'll take all the crop marks and all the guide marks off, because they won't understand that and they'll just confuse them. But when I'm sending something that I want them to just to check over, I'll use small file size. High quality print is for printing at home on a desktop printer. So sometimes people say, well, can you make me something? I want to print out some things here at home. Like I want to make a business card I can print myself or something like that. Then I would set it to high quality print. The option we want is press quality, right? If you're printing this, you want to set it to press quality. And I use these settings to create Adobe PDF documents best suited for high quality pre-press printing, right? So I save it as CMYK, I make it a PDF, I make sure all the artwork is 300 DPI, I set up my bleed, my safe. And then there's some options here about compression and output. Just don't worry about that. Now there's some other things here about, well, they don't even have that in here. So when you use this in Illustrator, there's some some ways to set up registration marks and stuff like that. Well, this doesn't even let me to do that. So but we set this up properly. So this was my final output. So I would save this as a PDF. So I have 2 copies. I'm gonna say yes. And so I have 2 copies of this document. One would be, where's my PDF go? One would be the PSD and the other would be the PDF. It went